It's almost time to go bowling, but first, one last trip down memory lane. The Stroh Show, next. Welcome to the latest edition of The Stroh Show with Iowa Western head football coach Scott Strohmeyer. I'm J.J. Davis, sports director of CBTV 17, filling in for the voice of the Reavers, Jake Ryan. And my first question, was that a mouthful or what, Coach? It was.
It was.
Speaking of mouthfuls, how's your Thanksgiving?
It was good. We had some time off. You get to spend some time with the family. That's always good. And the kids got to go home. I think that was they needed a break from us probably as well. So
I was going to say, how long did you give the kids off?
We gave them 4 days. We gave them Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They came back Sunday night. Well, really Sunday off as well. But we came back and kind of got them back in. We had to wear a little bit of the turkey off in the gym.
What about the coaches? Did they have to wear a little bit of the turkey off as well?
I should, but I didn't do any of the running either. But no.
How much do you take your mind off the bowl game and your stuff?
On those breaks?
Yes.
You do a little bit, I think, but there's always times if you're watching games or the things that you got to get done and just preparing for them. I think for the most part you can kind of just sit back and relax, but it's always on your mind when you know you got the opponent we have coming up.
All right, now, during this time, the all-conference teams have been announced. 14 Reavers make all-conference. Your thoughts on that?
Well, we had 14 first team and I think 6 in the second team and, so 20 total overall. But I think it shows the respect that our team has received from some of the fellow, that's voted by fellow coaches, in our league. And so I think that shows to the all-conference teams of what type of respect those guys have had.
All right, let's start with the skill guys. You got Connor Bavard, Akis Teague, Geronimo Allison, your tight end. A lot of the skill guys, of course, with the offensive numbers that you put up on the first team.
Well, and credit to those guys. Like I said, they did earn it. They're the best in the conference, and I think they proved it week in and week out against the opponents. That the opponent's head coach is like, yeah, that guy's pretty good. And then a credit, obviously, to a lot of those guys are new guys.
And a lot of those guys, 4, in fact, from the offensive line. What does that say?
That's where it starts. To have 4. We had 4 first-team all-conference offensive linemen. The 5th one was a second-team all-conference. And just like in Connor being the first-team quarterback, Tay got second team.
Right.
So that's a good thing. When you got 5, 4 of the top O-linemen in the conference come from your school.
Of course, then on the D side, Trayvon Young's just having a monster year. Ashton Henderson, your freshman linebacker, Cody Pook, and a couple of DBs, and not to mention your kicker. So the D side represented equally as well.
They did, and I thought that's where we maybe got a couple left off of there, that maybe deserved it. But because of the fact that you have so many,
right,
and now people are like, gosh, we're voting for Iowa Western on every single one of them. Who do we have to keep giving them to them? And I felt Ryan Langford ended up getting second team, all conference. Steve Myers has had a good year. Landon Schultz. Some of those guys that maybe didn't get all the Max Marshall. He's got Division I offers, and he wasn't even mentioned in the all-conference team.
Wow.
So I think part of that just happened because there's so many Iowa Western players. But I felt defensively is where we kind of got a little bit left.
What does it say about the growth of your program that in its 5th season, all these guys mentioned on the all-conference teams?
Well, I tell you what, like I said, it's a credit to the kids and my coaches putting them in these positions. But at the same time, for the opponents' coaches to show where our program has come. I mean, to vote them, they know for the most part, they're going to vote for the guys they think are the best, and have 14 first-team all-conference, 6 second-team all-conference. Probably had 2 more that probably should have got it, but I mean, that it speaks well for the program and where it's at.
And speaking about the Thanksgiving break once again, 36 days from your last game to your next. So, you know, the all-conference honors come out, the kids go home, et cetera, et cetera. How do you keep them focused?
That's the biggest, the challenge, that's the biggest question mark, and we won't know that until December 8th at 3 o'clock. You know, we feel we've had decent bowl prep. You know, a lot of these kids have been going on visits. I've been giving them Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. You know, from when our last game, we had 1 week off. From that point forward, we practice Monday through Thursday, and then we give them the weekend off so they can go on visits. And you know, then they come back, they have a good trip. Now you got to get them back in the practice mode for 4 days,
Right.
and then they go on another trip where they're getting wined and dined and you know, everything, you know, to get their mindset back. Right. So this week, Sunday was one of the better meetings. Monday was one of the better weightlifting sessions. They see Monday's practice because they see where Sunday's the game. You know, 36 days ago, that's a long time.
That's right, 36 days in between games, but it's coming up real soon. The Graphic Edge Bowl, 3rd-ranked Iowa Western against 5th-ranked Butler. We'll take an in-depth look a little bit more at the Reavers right after the break.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all working with United Way for a million little reasons. The kids of our communities, to ensure their academic success all the way to graduation day. You see, it takes about 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a kid becoming one or the other could be a professional athlete, or it could be you. Studies showed the earlier we get to kids, the better their chances. So become a United Way volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor, and make a difference in the life of a child, for the life of that child.
Give. Advocate.
Volunteer. Live United. Join your favorite NFL players. Take the pledge. Go to unitedway.org.
So the million-dollar question is, how do you follow up a national championship? It's real simple. You go 10-1, and according to a certain head coach I know, take out 9 minutes of that game at Georgia Military, and who knows, Iowa Western could be playing for another national championship. Would you like to expand on that?
Well, actually, yeah. You know, I mean, we're right there. You know, we lose by 10. You take out like about 9 minutes of the game, and you know, we're 11-0. You know, and I think that's the unique thing about the game of football. You got to play 60 minutes. You got to do it for 11 games, and we got beat in, you know, that game, and unfortunately you lose one, you put yourself out of the title mix, and but by no means is it a disappointing season. Right. But you know, obviously not where we wanted to be. And
this season, totally different in terms of team makeups than last year. Talk about that.
Well, and I think it is. Each year is totally different. You know, there was a lot of question marks. You know, being the national champion and ranked where we started off, I don't even know, 5 or 7 in the country, tells you a little bit about where people thought we were going to be, and to be right in the mix at as high as number 2 in the country. You know, these kids who came in, and we replaced, I think, 10 starters on offense and 9 on defense. You know, the next man coming in, and we're going to be in the same boat again, but at the same time, that's why you recruit, and that's why you have.
And you really can't complain about the numbers. Last year's offense averaged, what, 62 points a game? Well, this year's just 47. So it's not like there was this extreme drop in production.
Right, and you know, and that's you know, again, credit to those kids and my coaches of putting together good game plans and putting the kids in position. And I'll tell you what, it's a lot when you got good players. You know, there's a lot of good coaches out there. You know, some of our best coaching is in some of my losing seasons. You know, I feel, you know, 5 and 4 year, I think we had to spend the most time coaching, more time than the 12-0. Let those guys play.
A little bit more coaching per chance at the quarterback spot. Connor Brevard takes over for you-know-who. 23 touchdown passes, 9 picks. he seems for the most part to be efficient.
And that's his strength, understands our offense extremely well. You can put in a change up or something and he kind of understands it right away and can pick it up, manages the offense and keeps it running, playing at the tempo. So he's had a really good year. Again, some tough shoes to fill. Coming back from last year, a lot of high expectations, and I think he's handled it extremely well and done well.
How much did you change or restructure the offense for him?
Well, I don't know if we necessarily changed it a lot. I think some of the plays that we ran last year, we maybe didn't run as much this year. And again, I got to credit my offensive coaches for, as they're working with the quarterbacks, and I try to relay information to them of he's really good at this. This is not maybe a strength or whatever.
Right.
And you could see if you watched a game last year and watched a game this year, some of the things we were doing last year we didn't do as much of this year, and vice versa. Some of the plays that were big plays for us last year maybe were first down plays for us this year. So
last year you had 1,000-yard rusher Aaron Wimberly. This year the transfer from Cincinnati, Akis Teague, 1,193 yards. Quick.
Yeah, he's that was a big question mark coming into the season as well. We had no returning running back on last year, no returner from the spring. So all of our running backs were new in the fall camp, and so it was a big question mark. But Keese is an elusive athlete. There's numerous times I remember watching on film on Sundays. I don't know how he made that guy miss. So we missed this block, but he still ends up with 12 yards. So it was really nice to have him, and he didn't play in all the games. And he still had 1,100 yards. So. Definitely a big surprise coming into the season.
For the most part, depleted at the wide receiver spot, except for Geronimo. Geronimo Allison comes back, 69 catches. He's 6'3". He provided a nice little target for Connor Brevard.
He did, and that was really, the one who had the most snaps on last year's team. And coming back, and he was the third guy, and now he's the guy, and through spring ball, and I think they meshed pretty well together. And, had a heck of a year, and it's unfortunate at the end of the season, but at the same time, he finished his career with probably over 100 catches. I don't know, he's probably number 2 on the list or something like that. So he's had another heck of a year.
Nice surprises, freshman George Seal, and of course the kid from Lewis Central High School, Alex Reed.
Yeah, and you're always going to have those. George redshirted the year before, and so he had a fall camp, a spring ball, and coming into this fall has really done a nice job. Plays a couple positions for us, and then Alex Reed. That's the reason why we recruited him. He's a really talented athlete. I think the receiver position has been new to him a little bit. It was really disappointing because he was really making strides, and then he sprained his knee. He's back healthy now, but I think that set him back a couple weeks. We didn't have him in Georgia Military. That was, I think, the first game that he was not able to play.
Not much of a setback on the defensive side as well from last season. Just over 12 points per game. And Trayvon Young's just had a monster year. Did I see right? 11.5 sacks, 20 TFLs, 20 tackles for losses.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he's an explosive athlete. We're only going to have him for one semester. He's going to be moving on to a very high-level BCS school. But he's really fast off the ball. He's really green to the position. Really, he didn't play a lot of D end. He was a stand-up guy in high school. Played some tight end, and so he's really still learning. His best is ahead, but he's so long and lanky and athletic. He's tough to block. I still think the College DuPage tackle had nightmares on Saturday night after that last game.
The next level, linebackers led by a freshman, all-conference player Cody Pook, and then you got a couple of sophomore LBs. That second level, really important and played really well this season.
They did. It starts, Ryan Langford's a third-year player for us, and he's got Division I offers. Cody Polk's a freshman. He's got Division I offers. Devontae Schneider plays as well, and he's got some 1AAs and could potentially play higher. Steve Myers, one of our 2 returning starters, in unsung, quiet, and just been a leader on the linebacking core. We were coming in, and those 3 of the 4 were Iowa kids.
That's amazing.
And all 3 of them were qualifiers coming out of high school and didn't have to come to Iowa Western.
Secondary, couple of all-conference players, and the takeaway department defensively. 11 different guys interceptions on the defense.
We felt that we were as deep there as we've ever probably been, you know, and between our linebackers and our secondary coming into the season. But it starts with, I mean, you got Daniel Henry, who was in a 4-year program for a while. Jamie Bird, who was, at TCU for a while. David Jenkins, who spent time at LSU and TCU. Okay, and then you throw in a freshman, and then you got Mondo Williams, James Garlock, who's played in some big games.
Talk about depth.
You know, that was probably, and they understand the game, and not having to play a lot of true freshmen. 19
picks, 15 or 18 fumble recoveries, 37 takeaways, ranked second nationally. I feel like the Iowa Western defense has really laid its hat on takeaways.
They have, and again, that's a credit to my defensive staff and the things that they spend time and they stress it. And then you get guys who are kind of hungry and want to play and play, buy into your system. You're going to, just like offense scoring points, defense getting takeaways. So again, credit to the staff and putting them through. Defensively doesn't get enough credit. I mean, this year they played, phenomenal. You take 2 games out, and even in those 2 games, it's, Georgia Military was tough, and we and there was a turnover for or interception for a touchdown. They played pretty well in that game for the most part, and take away a few plays, and then you bounced back to coming off an 18-hour trip to a 12-hour trip to Arkansas the next week. We were a little bit flat.
Just a little bit, huh, Coach? Of course, so we've talked offense, defense, and now how about the special teams? Danny Hamilton, 15 of 18 on field goal attempts. He's missed just 1 extra point. The leading scorer in the nation. What is this kid from Westside, Matt?
I mean, it's a story that, you want to, we try to stress to kids. He came here. We only get 20 out-of-state guys. We're going to give every opportunity to the Iowa kid to win the job just because you only get 20. We went into the season or through fall camp, and we're like, we have to take him. I mean, right now he's our guy, and I didn't want to put us in a position early in the season and not have a field goal or an extra point or something and cost us the game. And we're good at some other positions, which helped us. So, but he redshirted, was told coming back. I wanted him to come back. He was questioning, and I told him, you got every opportunity, but the Iowa kid's gonna get the opportunity.
And the rest, as they say, is history. More with Danny Hamilton along with Aaron Zach coming up after the break.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning, 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash, 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
Welcome back to the Coach Stroh Show here on CBTV 17. I'm Aaron Zach, joined by Iowa Western's own kicker, Danny Hamilton. Danny, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
So tell me a little about yourself.
Graduated from Westside in 2012, came here, redshirted a year. It was kind of nice, a little colder from over in Omaha, but that's all right.
So how did you get into the passion of kicking?
I grew up playing soccer, and so in 8th grade when I tried out for the football team, they told me I should try field goal kicking, and it just kind of came naturally to me.
Did Coach Strohmeyer ever come in and watch you play?
Actually, I contacted Iowa Western just because towards the end of my senior year, I didn't have really anywhere to go. Heard about Iowa Western, heard they might need a kicker, so gave them a call.
So what makes this college so special to you to play for them and everything else that involves that?
I watched Iowa Western since I've had a football program. It's it's 15 minutes away from home, so it's close to home for me. It's nice to be able to go home whenever I want, and my parents can come out and watch every game. They've been to every game this season, so it's always nice.
What's it like playing for Coach Strohmeyer?
Playing for Coach Stroh is nice. Being a kicker, sometimes you can be fourth and you're on the 20-yard line. You don't know if you're kicking just because he likes to get the points on the board and make sure we're going to win. But, he's a good coach. He practice runs well, and it's real nice.
So what's your mindset going into a kick in a game? Do you have a certain kind of routine that you go through?
I do. I actually don't like to know how long the kick is when I go in there. I just like to go in, line up, not think about it, and just kick it in.
Do you do anything in practice for your routine to practice?
During practice, I just kind of try and jog in off the sidelines like I would from a game. But other than that, it's just keeping the routine the same.
The most points that you scored is 24 in a game. Well, how do you go about matching that ever?
I don't know. I got lucky. He let me kick 6 field goals that game, which was a school record. So that was nice. And then it was a real windy game. I was surprised I actually got all of them to go in, but it was nice.
Now, hearing Coach Strohmeyer talk and say good things about you, how does that make you feel inside?
It feels good because I feel like coaches are going to be watching this program, and hopefully it'll help me out moving on to the next level, getting the headline and getting talked about on shows. So that's nice.
Well, Danny, I want to say congratulations on making it to the bowl game.
Thank you.
Congratulations on all your accolades.
Thank you very much.
I wish you the best of luck, not only this Sunday in your bowl game, but your season next year.
Hopefully. Yeah,
I hope to have you back on the show again.
Okay, thank you very much.
When we come back, J.J. Davis will sit down with Coach Strohmeyer and talk about Sunday's game versus Butler. We'll be right back.
Seven 7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy. Oh, and she even talks to it. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
And other than the national championship game, this is the best bowl game coming up on December 8th. Third-ranked Iowa Western against fifth-ranked Butler. And I feel like, Coach, we've been down this road before, just recently, about a year ago.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said just there, it is the best. And it might be the best 2 teams that one-loss teams that very easily could be in a national title game. If they didn't have one slip up through the season. So they're extremely talented.
And I feel like these 2 teams, in a sense, mirror each other. I mean, Butler averages 39 points a game, you 47. Its defense gives up just under 12 points a game. You guys a little bit over. So there's a little bit of a sameness there this time around.
Yeah, and kind of similar last year a little bit. Their offense maybe didn't score as much, and their defense was a little bit better, and it ended up being a defensive,
right.
Tough, hard-fought game.
Right.
But it is similar. I think defensively they're different than they were last year. We're a little bit different offensively as well, personnel-wise, and the things that we do. And their offense is a little bit different as well as our defense is. But the fun thing about games like this is 2 really good well-coached teams. Mm-hmm. It's fun to schematically scheme against somebody when the kids do what they're supposed to do. Right. And you can come in with a pretty decent game plan. And so that's the fun thing.
Can you take anything away from last year's game, last year's film, or do you not even look at it?
Oh, yeah, we did. We watched a lot of it because they gave us some fits in what they did to us defensively. Mm-hmm. And then when you're studying it as a defensive coach, offensive coaches, they do kind of the similar stuff. You know what I mean? So you find out some of their stuff that they thought coming into this game that they were going to work on or attack us in. So we can look at it that way. So we did watch it, although we got to study more on their personnel this year. But the game was watched a few times.
The Grizzlies give up less than 60 yards rushing on the ground. And as far as the takeaway department, 16 picks, 16 fumble recoveries. It sounds like the team that they're playing against this upcoming weekend.
Hopefully we can get a few more than 60 rushing yards. We need to break that average a little bit. But they are opportunistic on defense. They create you because of what they do defensively. To turn the football over sometimes in some of the passing game because they blitz you so much. But
all right, forget the X's and O's stuff. What about the head stuff, the rivalry, or could we call it a budding rivalry because you're going to go to their league next season. You beat them last year. What about all that stuff on the periphery besides the stuff that's right on the field?
Well, I think that's what we're kind of trying to start. You know, when I took the job and you know, and you look at it, what was one of the teams, I think that was in 2008 or 2009, if it was one of the 9 or 10, Butler was playing for a national champion, and they're year in and year out at the top, and not that you model it, but, you know, I knew what they did to be successful in their league, and that was a team you always wanted an opportunity to play as a coach, and here we are in back-to-back years, and for 2 more years we're going to do it again and turn it around. So hopefully it can be kind of a rivalry. I think when you got 2 teams to make it a rivalry, that's a good thing because you got 2 good teams.
So quickly heading into the game, what can you reveal injuries-wise? Because I know how head coaches are.
Well, I mean, we're for the most part, we're fairly healthy. Besides the sickness that's going around across the board, you know, Geronimo Allison did get hurt in the last game and is extremely questionable for a Sunday's game, but
extremely.
So, but you know, and it's unfortunate for him. You know, and we'd love to see him play again, but you know, we got some other guys that got to step up, and we've had 36 days to try to figure it out.
And you know, head coaches are now chomping at the bit as well, right? And the coaching staffs.
For sure. You know, like I said, it's been long. It's been a long time from when we played to now, and so getting into like this Sunday and Monday was kind of, I wouldn't say it was a relief. You still got a lot of things to do, but we got a lot of them done, and just now it's looking forward to, it's going to be really good when it becomes Friday and we can hop on that bus.
Amen, right, Coach?
Yep.
Or amen. So that's it. Coming up next is the Graphic Edge Bowl, Sunday, December 8th, 3 o'clock, the UNI Dome. 3rd-ranked Iowa Western takes on the Butler. That is the 5th-ranked Grizzlies. We'll be there, have all the highlights on the Bluff Sports Zone. So for the Iowa Western students manning the cameras, for everybody back there in the control room, you can check out the game on iHigh, or we will replay it on CBTV 17. Go to cbtv17.com and check out when that game will air. So this is J.J. Davis along with head coach Scott Stroh, and as always, we'll see you around.